To friends like us. I'm Marina Franklin, and this is
Evelyn Frick.
every week I do something different, don't I?
It's good. It
Every-
keeps me on my toes.
I'm trying to be consistent, and then I'm like, oh, that's right. I didn't let her say her own name. So we are in New York City where it's like cold.
So cold. I hate it.
Are you prepared for this weather, being that your family's from Chicago?
I am. Yeah, like I deal with cold weather, and my girlfriend's from Minnesota, and I've visited her during the winter, which I think just goes to show how much I love her that I would visit the Minnesota in winter. But I think like I don't feel as prepared for the cold this winter just because it's been so temperate in New York, like, until this weekend. So I was just fully used to it being in, like, the 40s and even 50s in New York.
It was a good winter.
It was good. I know it's, like, probably indicative of, like, our planet dying, I did enjoy that it wasn't cold, and now it's just windy and yeah, I'm not a fan.
It was so difficult to go and do shows last night, and I know
I'm
that's
sure.
probably, like, for a comic who really wants to get on stage, annoying
Yeah.
that I've said that, but it is true. I was just like, "This is tough.
Yeah.
This is really." I mean, I had 3 shows last night, and I was just
Mhm.
like, "Ugh." I have a very good winter coat, but
Mhm.
not good winter shoes.
Yeah.
So
I
I was
only
walking around in my regular shoes, and it was like, and then I waited for the subway. By the way, waited in the subway for 16 minutes
Oh,
for a
wow.
train.
That's a long time.
I almost took a picture and tagged the mayor in it.
It's so annoying. Like for the most part, I'm on the queue and like I only typically ever have to wait like less than 10 minutes for a train. But in the evening, it gets really spotty, which is the time when you don't want it to be spotty and you don't want to have to hang out in the subway for more than 10 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, they said that they were gonna fix that. Like, they were gonna fix everything else. You know, it's interesting. I've always noticed, like, I'm on the blue line, the A, the
Yeah.
C. The E train is always ready and there.
I know. Yeah, the E train always runs, which I know because I used to also live in Brooklyn on the ACE line, and I only ever needed to take the A and the C, and they just did not show up.
Yeah, it's crazy because I was like, "What is that? Why is the E train run more smoothly than why does one train line run better than the other?" And I always think it's racism.
I mean, typically it is like, like I think trains that like stop like do more like I think I am probably wrong, but I'm like fairly certain that the E is local and
Oh,
the
is that
A
it?
and the
Yeah.
C are express.
Oh, the
And
C's
so
local.
the C is local. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, but yeah, generally I think trains that like if they don't want to stop at certain places, they do fewer of those trains typically, I think.
Yeah, it's crazy because I was like 5 or 7 E trains went by.
Oh my god, that's so frustrating when that happens.
Um, I'm typing at the same time, and then, also, I saw Julian McCullough, who is back in New York City,
Oh,
a good
cool.
friend of mine, comedian friend, and, he was on the platform. I had already been, like, kind of walking back and forth. I found, like, a warm spot because there's drafts,
Yeah.
wind drafts that come through on that platform, even though it's underneath and underground,
Mhm.
and I found a warm spot because I kept just walking circles and stuff,
Nice.
and then finally I saw Julian and I go, "Julian." And he goes, "Oh my god." He goes, "It's so cool." I go, "I found a warm spot." He goes, "Where?" So I said, "I've had time to, I've been here for a while, so I've had time to survey the area."
That's so funny.
And he was like, "Oh, you've explored this platform?" I go, "I've had like 16 minutes."
I know when the train is, like, so late, like, all you can do is just, like, like, look around the lines and the platform and try to find interest I always try to find interesting graffiti. I think that passes the time fairly well. or see if I can see any rats on the subway. But yeah, other than that, there's not a whole lot to do.
I accidentally muted myself for a second. Or I
Oh,
forgot to give us a cheer. I always forget
oh,
this part. This is for us, Evelyn.
we deserve it.
We do. We do deserve it.
Yeah.
Um, that is the Karen Marina investigating. Oh, hell yeah. And there was a lot of bikes and motor scooters on the, oh my God, overload of the
It's so
electric
annoying.
bikes. I had one guy this week was like coming through
Oh my god.
on a city bike.
On a city bike? Oh my god.
And he looked like he stole that city bike. And he
Mm,
like coming through. I was like, no, there's no coming through on a city electric bike on a
yeah,
platform where people are standing that if they fall onto the tracks can die. What do you mean coming through?
I know. I feel I feel so bad when, like, I'm on the train and there's someone with, like, a bike or, like, something, and they've, like, tied it to the pole, and then someone tries to get on with, like, a stroller and, like, a little kid, and they can't, like, maneuver around. It's like, "Come on." Like, you should, for many reasons, not be down and in the subway, but especially so you're not giving, like, people who actually need to take up a little bit more space, like, a hard time.
Yes. Now, you guys, the reason we're doing this, and I say it every week, is because I'm promoting my podcast, Friends Like Us. You could see it in the link below, scrolling. I'm typing it into the chat. That's why I'm somewhat like disjointed because I try to do two things. But here we go. Uh, it's Linktree. It has all the platforms here. You can hear my typing. Doesn't it sound
Mm,
fast
it
and
does sound
furious?
fast.
It's funny how you don't even need to take typing classes anymore, um,
No.
because everyone is on Instagram. They're typing on their keyboards, and you just know where the letters are. They used to take.
Yeah.
I wonder if they teach typing any at any.
I wonder, I took typing classes when I was part of the curriculum when I was in elementary school. And so they had like all these like computer games that were typing based, which I think like is probably why like I do consider myself a good typer and a good typist. But yeah, I feel like that might just be a skill that people know how to innately do now.
Yeah, it's just we have it down.
You do, which is like I don't know how I feel about that. Like I always feel weird when like parent I mean like I'm not a parent, so like who am I to judge, but like when parents like give their kids iPads, like really little kids iPads and stuff. But also like I do wonder like if they don't do that, like are they like losing that skill of like knowing how to type early on?
Oh, you're right. Yeah. The iPad, listen, I agree with you. But then if you saw my niece, the way she acted when you
I'm
tried to tear
sure.
her away from that iPad, I tried to replace it. I've been trying to get her into books since she was like little. I tried to
Yeah.
replace it with a book. Ooh.
Ooh, it's a tantrum.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it
Mhm.
was a bad tantrum. But now she makes fun of me. She's like, TT, what are you reading?
That's so funny.
This week she told me, she goes, TT, she like, my sister will give her the phone
Hmm.
and then she will talk to me and her verbal skills are challenging. So
Yeah.
like she'll go into like she's 5, so she'll go into like a whole story.
Oh wow.
And I could tell something really bugged her, and it was I think it was something about some girl was the line leader, and she
Mm.
wanted to be she goes, "And I wanted to be the line leader."
That's so funny. I
'Cause I said,
definitely
"How
felt like that too when I was 5.
what, you want to be the line leader?"
Oh, yeah, it was a position of power in elementary school.
Yes, that's her. She likes power, I can tell. I can tell. But she couldn't say line leader, so it came out. She was like, "And line leader," and I was like, "What? What's going on there?" It was so cute.
That is really cute.
It is cold. DJ Eric Prince, welcome back. Sarah, hi from Baltimore. Oh my gosh,
Hello.
welcome. I don't think I've seen you here before. Welcome to this
So
Friends Like Us preview review. We really just encourage you to listen to the podcast. Friends like us, this week we have Zainab Johnson and Dawn B is on, and it's a great conversation about AP Black history and what they're trying to do to it. It's pretty disgusting.
And yeah, I mean, what they've already started doing to it, it's really the amount of authors that they've cut from that curriculum, really incredible authors, is just so disheartening.
Yeah, it's who have they cut?
Oh my gosh, it's such a long list. I know like Ta-Nehisi Coates, who wrote Between the World and Me and is like an incredible author. Oh gosh, I mean, I'm sure like Toni Morrison
Oh yeah, Toni
is
Morrison.
cut.
Mhm.
Oh gosh, there was like a huge, huge list that I saw. Let me see if I can find it on my Twitter. But yeah, I mean, it's like any like really important Black writer from the last like however like they just cut. It's really quite discouraging. And yeah, I mean, it just seems like a bad time to live in Florida or a lot of states in this country.
Yeah, people keep going to Florida.
Mm-mm. I don't think it's
Why?
worth. I don't think. I mean, I think because of the
Warm.
weather. Yeah, I think because of the weather. I think because of the beaches. But also, it's like in however many years that's going to be underwater.
Oh yes, it's definitely going to be underwater
Yeah. So
with crocodiles or alligators. I mean,
yeah.
because crocodiles are. I always get this confused. In Australia, they have crocodiles. I think. In America, we have alligators.
I think. Oh my gosh, I do not know.
I
I
always get it confused.
I could not understand. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe, hopefully, either a crocodile or alligator will
Yeah.
at least. I don't encourage violence, but at least maybe a little wrestling with Ron DeSantis.
Yeah. Truly. Yeah, sorry. I was just looking at a list. Okay, so yeah, some of the other authors that they cut, particularly these are the Black female writers they cut: Bell Hooks, Audre Lorde, Alice Walker. Um, yeah, all really incredible writers. Michelle Alexander, who wrote The New Jim Crow, they cut. Um, yeah, Ta-Nehisi Coates, any sort of Black LGBTQ studies. So Kathy Cohen,
Trans too,
Roderick
right?
Ferguson. Yeah, yep, they're yeah. It's really bad.
And what's going to happen is there's going to be more of a push for people because we were talking about it this week on the podcast that what is the real fear, I think, is that white parents, their children are coming home and they are upset about not getting the history that they want.
Yeah,
I always remember going overseas and people in England and Australia, they know more about our history
yeah,
than we do, and that was so embarrassing to experience.
yeah,
It's just part of America. It's America's, like, hidden past that they don't want. A fear
yeah.
of a black planet is what I and not even just black. There's even some writing about, I think, Jewish culture that they're trying to.
Yeah, I mean, last year, a school district in Tennessee, and off like and more school districts have done this, have tried to ban the Diary of Anne Frank, which is just so wild. Like part of it, their argument is, I think, I mean, she was a teenager, so she was like writing about like her budding sexuality, and so like they banned it because of that. They also tried to ban Mouse, which is a
Oh,
graphic
that's right.
novel written and illustrated by this guy named Art Spiegelman, whose parent or his father survived the Holocaust, and it's about that. And they also tried to ban that, saying it's like not age appropriate or whatever. Which like I don't know, like in like for a lot of Jewish kids, myself included, like we started learning about the Holocaust in like early elementary school and Sunday school, and like I turned out fine. I turned out very well educated about my background, and I know the same is true for like like people of like Black people, like Asian people. We all like know like our histories. It's just that like and this isn't to say Jews are not white, because there are white Jews do exist, but like white, like waspy people just don't want to acknowledge that other histories exist also.
And it's in AP history, like that's college.
Yeah, right. Like, I don't know how you could argue that this still qualifies as an AP course if, like, because in college you are going to read all these authors, and like it's a huge omission to try to teach certain classes without including like key authors. So, yeah, I don't know.
And these professors who are Black, of color, what they're
Yeah.
going to have a very difficult time because someone's going to complain. It just took one person anyway to do this, to make this change. That's the crazy part.
Yeah, and like I mean, it's obviously like it's very scary that this is happening in like public, like high schools and like schools that are part like public system, but like Florida's also trying to do this to private like colleges, and also trying to do this to their public universities as well, and like that's really scary. Like freedom of education is so important, and like trying to erase all these really important like histories, like it becomes propaganda. Like it changes from education to propaganda.
You're so well spoken. Thank you, Evelyn. I love the way I want to congratulate you again about your new promotion. How's it
Oh,
going
thank
so far?
you. It's good. Yeah. So, for those who haven't tuned in, I recently became an associate editor in my job. It's good. I mean, it's kind of funny. Like, I work for a fairly small company, so like my day to day, like the things that I'm doing, like it has not changed, because like I was already like taking initiative and taking on more work. So it's still basically the same, but it's been really good. It feels nice to get recognized at work, for accomplishments and such. So yeah, it's been exciting. I mean, the one thing that's changed is like now that I am an editor, I'm taking on more like editing of pieces and other people's essays, which is I think I
That's a
always
lot of work.
consider it is a lot of work. I do consider myself more of a writer, so I think it's I think
Sorry
it'll
about
only
the
help
dog.
me.
Can you hear that?
No, I can't.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, like I think it'll just make me a better writer, which is really exciting.
Yes. Awesome.
Thank
So
you.
let's bring on the man, the monster,
Yeah.
the myth, not a legend.
Nope. That was good. I really like that.
Oh my God. Give it up for David Juskow.
Now, you know damn well, Marina, that I am a New York comedy legend. Like playing with those buttons, huh?
Yeah. Now I wanted what is you saying, Eric? Eric is like advanced placement is a program run by the College Board, but it's affecting college courses. That's the thing that allows you to take special high school courses that they've moved on from just that to let's see, what does it say here? The official curriculum, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just that like it's not like they're not like a class you would take at a college. But I
Okay.
think the problem is that like because people take these classes that like they can like like skip certain like other classes that you can use it for credit when you get to college. So if you're taking classes in high school that like omit really important like work and
Okay.
like pedagogical like ideas, like, and then you get to college and you skip classes that like aren't like being told they can't teach you certain things, like you're missing something. So it will like affect people's college educations even if it is at a high school level.
You know, as a college professor,
Oh my
I
God.
don't
Oh my god.
just
Of
wanted to
what?
see what that. I have nothing to say. I just wanted to use it in a sentence. The first part.
Heck Tech wants to know when it gets cold, how you doing in the cold, Juskow?
I enjoy it as long as I know I'm getting warm. Yesterday, I actually went out. We had a girls' night out.
You
With
and the
this,
girls.
yeah, me and the girls from my office, and we have a little book club, and we had to meet in Brooklyn. I was very uptight about it because it was cold, and then one of the girls dropped me off at Stuytown. You know that place, Marina?
Mm-mm.
You know Stuytown Village. It's like it goes from like 20th Street to 14th Street
Oh,
around First
yeah,
Avenue.
where my ex-boyfriend lived. Yeah.
Right. So she dropped me off there, and I just got lost in that village. So
Oh, it's a huge village.
yeah, and it's really hard to find your way to a street. So it was way too cold for that. Like, it's okay to be cold if you know where you're headed, but wandering around in this kind of weather, because it was -11 last night, it was about midnight, is not fun. But like, knowing full well where and then I waited for the bus
Oh.
like an idiot. I
Yeah,
don't know
this
why I
is
didn't take a cab. Because it was kind of fun to be
What
that
did you
cold
say?
that I waited for the bus.
Have you heard what?
What did I say?
You couldn't take a cab or something?
No, I could have. I just didn't care. I walked from 14th Street to about, I guess, 34th Street or
And the
30th because
cold?
I was almost going to take the bike because it was funny. I was like laughing because it was so cold and it was so ridiculous. I'm like, let's see how long I could take it. And then the bus came. I'm like, all right, let's not fool around. I'll just take the bus. It was only 20 blocks.
That's a lot. I mean, I was just telling Evelyn that last night after I finished my set, I took the train because on these nights when it's freezing like this, they do surge the prices. They take advantage
Yes.
of you,
Yep.
and all the money you've made just is gone.
Isn't that
So
awful? Yeah.
I get very resentful of that. So I take the train despite the fact
Yep. Me
that I
too.
know I can take an Uber, but I just won't do it. So I'll take a train. And I
But
had to wait for
a cab can't surge price, right?
no,
The taxes.
but it's
Yeah,
hard to find a cab.
right.
And
Yeah.
if you're black, forget it. Because
Right.
it was funny because I was with Ryan Hamilton
Can't
and we were
believe
trying
that's
to catch a
still a
cab. I was
thing.
like, oh my God, the cabs are racist again. Because there was a point
Yeah.
when they were like desperate to get anybody.
Well,
Yeah.
remember,
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, I can't believe it's still a problem. I mean, because I told you that story from 1988 with Reggie McFadden, or was that 1987, 1988? And we were at the Improv, and to get Reggie a cab, unfortunately, going to East New York, Brooklyn, just as a coincidence that it's even to a bad neighborhood. But to get him a cab, one of us would have to go out and hail the cab, one of the white comp me or Attell or Dan Vitale or Chris Blitman. I don't know if you remember him from the Improv. Somebody would go out from the Improv who's white, hail the cab, and then Reggie would come running, and you see the cab driver like, I got scammed. As funny as that is, it's not funny, and I
I
can't
know,
believe
it's
it's
just
still
true.
a fucking thing.
That's what
40
happened.
years later, it's insane. That's why I hate cabs. I hate them. I'm glad Uber's pushing them out of business. Again, I think we've mentioned this. Remember when we were growing up, like in the early 90s, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, they turn on their off-duty lights. They pick and choose who they want to pick up. Well, that's over. Thank God. So fuck them, and they deserve everything they're getting.
I mean, Uber
So,
drivers
yeah.
too, I think.
How can Uber drivers do that, though?
They can
Well,
like
they
lie.
sometimes cancel the ride in
But
certain.
they don't know if you're black, do they? Or
They can see your
whatever.
picture.
Once they show up, they can cancel the ride.
They don't do it.
I haven't heard
they can't
about
really
that.
do it. That hasn't happened to me, but I know that they can look at your picture on Lyft. They can see your picture.
Oh.
So
I don't think I have
sometimes it's also about them deciding whether or not they want to go home. Like a
Well,
lot
that's
of
the way it
times,
was with cabs.
yeah.
And
Like
if
a
they
lot
were
of
going
times,
over the Queensboro Bridge, if you were heading that way, they'll take you home. But that's just getting a last fare, which is unacceptable. So
Mhm.
why would you even take the fare in an Uber, knowing full well where you're headed, if you don't want to take that trip? So it's still a better system than the cabs.
So last night on the platform, Julian McCullough was like, the train took. It said 16 minutes. I had to wait 16 minutes, and those wind drafts come through,
Yeah,
and I had enough time to find the warm spot. So when I saw Julian was like bent over, and he's like, "Oh my God!" And I go, "Hey," and I go, "Come with me. I found the I found the spot." And he's just like, "How did you do this?" I was like, "I just had enough time, to survey
Wait a
the
minute.
area."
What? He's back in town? I haven't seen
He's
him in
been
years.
back. Yeah, he's back in New York.
Oh, well, how's he doing?
Very funny comedian.
Does he still look good? He was a very handsome fella.
Let's see. You have a question. This is a question for both Evelyn and Jessica. Have any of you been in a place in the U.S. where you were the minorities? If so, did you feel you were treated differently? Good question, Heck Tech. Thank you.
Of course.
That's a good
Being
question.
Hebrew, it's definitely a situation where I've definitely been a minority and treated differently. Or the way, I guess you get to know how Black people might feel a little bit because they definitely are treating you different. Like they're like, we have some Jewish friends up north, like or some, I mean, we've definitely heard that before. And I guess it's similar to being like, I have a lot of Black friends that I know, but
I mean, like I've never like experienced it where I felt like othered. I mean, like I definitely since like the uptick in anti-Semitism as of late, sometimes I do like feel a little bit nervous about wearing like a Star of David necklace. Just because I like that, like like people, if you're anti-Semitic and you see that, then that makes me a target. But not, I mean, for the most part, like I live in Flatbush, which is like a Caribbean community. And I don't feel like particularly like,
But Evelyn, you look
minority.
so not Jewish. You have pretty eyes, your beautiful face. For me, growing up, I looked so Jewy. There was no way out. It was like being Black. There was no way to not know I wasn't Jewish.
Now,
No,
does
I mean,
this
and
sound
that's
ignorant for me to say this, but not until I came to New York and people emphasize what you just said, did I ever notice the difference between what a Jewish person looks like or any like I never someone would say that they go, Marina, you can't tell. And I go, I never, not until you pointed, I've never paid attention to it and it never was something. Does that sound
It doesn't sound
offensive?
ignorant to me. I think it's
No, it
just like you
makes sense.
notice it within like your own like culture. Like I like have since like I've been little, like I just know, like I just tend to know that like if someone has like really curly hair, maybe a slightly larger nose, they might be Jewish, or just like for with last names, for example. Like if I see someone's last name and it's like oh, that's like an Ashkenazi Jewish person, or even now, like I can usually tell with like Mizrahi Jews or Jews that are from the Middle East. I can be like, oh, that person's Jewish. I just think you notice it more, like because you
But I
grow
know
up
what
around
Marina's
it.
saying. Sometimes you're in a community where you just aren't thinking about it. You're not talking about it. Then when you move, you notice it more. Or, I remember that happened with Mike
Yeah.
Royce, and he was from Syracuse. And when he came down to the city, somebody was picking on me in a tell, and he was like, "Oh, I've never seen that before."
Yeah.
So I guess you come to town, whatever town it is, and you'll notice things you never even thought about before.
I grew up in Highland Park though, and I never
I know
Yeah.
that's why it's so strange. Yeah.
I never paid attention to the appearance ever. I was just like, I just remember during Christmas, I was the only one in school during a certain time, and
That's so
I
funny.
felt like the minority in that way. I was like,
Yeah, yeah,
where's everybody?
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, other than that,
Well, I told you my junior high was very anti-Semitic, so we got a
In New
good,
Jersey?
yeah. So we got
really,
a good, yeah. I told you this before. They used to throw pennies at us and stuff, and if you picked them up, then you were definitely Jewish because you're
Oh my
paying for
god.
whatever. And I remember in Spanish class, I don't know, our first day of school, the teacher was just like, "Oh, who do you hate?" And say it in Spanish, like, "I hate the Jews."
What?
Yeah, yeah. And you kind of knew the kid was a good kid, and you kind of knew it was, even as a 13-year-old boy or a girl, you knew it was coming from his parents because it
Yeah,
just didn't add up because he didn't act that way, in the hallway.
yeah.
Uh, and then, but the teacher just went with it and didn't kick him out. And she's just like, "Why do you hate the Jews?" She doubled down, and she's like,
Jesus.
"Because all they do is make money and shit." It
Oh my
was really
god.
fucked up, and then I knew something was wrong. And
Yeah.
then I told you they called me Berkowitz because of David, the son of Sam.
Oh my
They
god.
called me Berkowitz because my name was David and I was Jewish. So for 2 years they called me Berko. First Berkowitz, and then they shortened it to Berko because they liked me. Well, he's an okay Jew. And then in
Wow.
college, the same thing. Well, just because Jewish, but he's cool.
That's
Get that?
crazy.
Yeah.
In college, the first time I noticed that there was a connection between blacks and Jewish people was when, you know, that story about when I accidentally did a Civil War
Yeah.
reenactment. um, you know, so I'm in the back seat of the van,
Yeah.
and my professor, who was putting on Confederate gear on top of the roof that I didn't realize, I
Yeah.
was like, wait, the colors, what color is that? You know,
Yeah.
and the other theater graduate student who was Jewish, and I was like, this is kind of uncomfortable. And he looked at me, he goes, just so you know, I'm uncomfortable with this too. I go, why? He goes, I'm Jewish. I go, oh, that's right. He goes, yeah. And the whole way, the whole trip, I noticed his discomfort with mine. And I was like, oh, we got something in common here. And I remembered like my friend who's like like not the other two were not like phased by the trip at
Yeah.
all. But he and I were like bonding. Similar to like me and Dan Natterin going to do Last Comic Standing, by the way.
Yeah, it was.
Marina, you're black, I'm Jewish. What are we gonna do?
Well, so did you guys have either of you watched You People on Netflix?
No, how is it?
I didn't like it.
It's Eddie
But
Murphy, right? Yeah.
yeah, it's I mean, like the thing is, it's like an incredible cast. Like it's Eddie Murphy, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Jonah Hill, Sam Jay.
But
Like
Jonah Hill wrote it, right?
Jonah Hill and Kenya Barris wrote it together.
Okay.
And Jonah Hill stars in it, and Kenya Barris directed it. And it's like, I mean, like obviously, like there are like Jews who are like anti-black racist, and there are also black people who like can be anti-Semitic. Like that's not a thing that doesn't exist. But like I do think like black people and Jewish people have more in common than we do like have like differences, and the movie just like played on like stereotypes and like
You're right
pitting.
about that. I
Yeah.
they totally missed that beat.
Oh, you saw it,
Yeah.
Marina?
Yeah, and I stopped. I stopped after the hat was
On
burned.
fire. Yeah. Oh my god, the
Um,
dinner scene was terrible.
you
Man.
know, and it's funny because I talked to someone this morning who was like, "Oh, I've heard everyone," and then I talked to someone last night and was like, "No, a lot of people did not like it." Like at
Yeah.
the cellar, there were comics who were like, there was a lot of people who didn't like. I mean, because I'm actually writing a show right now too. I
Yeah.
can see a lot of the flaws, and the maybe rushed. I was like this. The only thing that I did like was Is it David Coveney?
A Duchovny. Yeah.
He was hilarious in that piano scene. Like
Oh,
there
yeah.
was something about him and his delivery that almost was better than the whole thing.
I know. Yeah, it's like it was also so interesting too because like the focus in the movie was so heavily on Eddie Murphy and Julia Louis-Dreyfus, which like I understand why, but like David Duchovny and Nia Long were also like the other two parents, and they were given like nothing to do in the movie. And it's like these people are so talented. Like write something for
I
them.
have never seen him that funny before.
Yeah.
Used to be
And
funny
I
on the
thought
Larry Sanders Show.
I want to see more from him. That's what I was thinking. I was like, it's sad that it was in this movie but I saw like I was like, oh my God, this
I
guy
mean,
is
what
brilliant.
happened to him? You know, he was so funny on the Larry Sanders Show, and then he just, you know, obviously he had the X-Files, and then he just disappeared.
Was he
I saw him
difficult
on
to work with?
I saw him on the sequel or the remake of what's that witches movie with the four girls that what's that
Oh, the
movie?
return of the Witches of Eastwick or
Oh,
something.
wait, I think I know what you're talking
The one
about.
with
Is it?
Fairuza Balk and from the 90s, and they
Yeah, I
remade
know
it.
what you're talking about. I can't remember what it's called, but I
Yeah, I
know what you're
can't think
talking
of it
about.
either. And he's in that one, and he was awful. Right,
Well,
he
he
had
had
that Californication.
yeah, I was
That's
gonna say he
what
had Californication.
But then he just disappeared, which is odd. You know, like he really had I just hadn't heard from him in a long time. I'm
Some
glad he's
people
doing
need to
something.
live life.
He
This is
seems
true.
okay.
Yeah.
There's that one actor that's still missing in the like hills of something in
Oh, right.
California.
Oh, I hadn't heard about that.
what's his name? Do you guys know? Can you pull it up?
Yeah, I'm looking up.
And he's like a great actor, and he just like went hiking and
Oh, I know Julian Sands.
Oh, right,
yes.
Julian
Oh, yeah,
Sands.
no, I did actually know
Did
about
you
this.
mention that? Did you think of that because he was in that movie Warlock? Is
I
that
don't
what
know
made you think
why
when I
it
said
came to
witches or
mind. Maybe,
something? Or-
maybe, yeah. It just sparked that. And I was like, and I just realized I was like, no one has found him.
I
It's
know. Oh,
weird.
I
Poor
think he's
guy.
probably no longer with us. Unfortunately, it seems like if you go hiking and then go missing for like longer than a week, it's probably
I heard
not
the
good.
worst story, and I'm sorry that I'm going to share it again. I share some of the worst stories because there's this news thing that I watched called Newser,
Mm.
and it always has like horrible death stories. It's just nonstop. But it was like someone went on a like a national uh park
Yeah.
with their parent with their mom, and the wind gusts picked up from yeah, and it hit the fence, a pole,
Oh my God.
yeah, and decapitated her in front of the whole I'm sorry.
Jesus.
I'm sorry, but and it's not funny. It's just that when I read it, I was like, "Why are they telling?" But the thing is, they just got money from that whole experience because
Oh.
they didn't tie down
Oh, like the tent.
the tent, and she was actually a very important person. Look, I hate my stories. My stories are filled with no information. But she was apparently so important. She was doing studies and everything that
Oh wow.
they got money for her to continue her stories. I mean, her not her story, her studies or whatever.
Oh
Since
wow.
that took her out, but it's just like the most horrific thing to be like in a national park. You're out probably after the pandemic. You're finally able to do something like this, and then that happens.
I mean, I like national parks are wonderful and beautiful, and I will gladly visit them during the day, but I will never go camping in a national park and like stay overnight. Like nothing good
Well, that's I think
can
that's our
come from that.
Jewishness. That I don't know
I
any
think so.
Jews that camp, but I'm with you 100% on that. I mean, how many movies do you have to see where you're like, that's a bad idea?
And yeah, and like that just proves that like even if you're not taken out by like a serial killer or a
Right,
bear,
or
like
bear,
the
right?
tent will
Yeah,
kill
they
you.
they tell you to tie down their stuff at the beach too, just in the summertime, where all those umbrellas go flying around sometimes when it really picks up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Speaking of looking at that, the US may shoot down this
The spy balloon.
I think I could share yeah, the what this looks like.
Now, where's that over?
I actually don't know.
Where in the U.S. is that flying
Carolina,
over?
the
Carolina.
Carolinas.
Why would it come from China on that end? Shouldn't it be closer to California? You know, how did it get all the
Uh,
way? It went around the world the other way?
or maybe like they had like a fighter jet and just like released it.
There's
Okay, that
2.
would make sense.
There are two?
It says the balloon was spotted Saturday morning over North Carolina as it neared the Atlantic coast.
But why would they even send a balloon? Wouldn't they want to be more stealthier? Or are they
Well,
sending a message?
I read somewhere that it's like actually not a spy plane, but I mean, who's to, or like it's not like an actual spy, but I don't know.
Well, how could it be? You know, why would they take a chance of it landing somewhere in the US and then clearly knowing that the Chinese are looking? You know, it doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
And they can't shoot it down because it could hurt people shooting it
Oh,
down, but
How
it's
could it
also
shoot
like a
people?
problem
I
because
mean,
the China they just opened and they're trying to get their economy back.
yeah.
how could
So
it
this
hurt
is a
people?
huge problem.
How could it hurt people? Is it really huge when it
It might
falls or
actually be
something?
big. Yeah.
You think it's full of like pellets or something?
No,
I
but it
don't
looks
know.
like it maybe like that like equipment, like whatever is like attached to it, like it will however like high it is, it will gain speed when it's like
And you just don't think
falling.
it's some sort of weather balloon? We're positive it's definitely a Chinese spy balloon.
Well, that's what they're saying that they're saying it's not. That's what
But I'm saying
China
like
is saying.
nobody's been able to fly next to it and see what's up with it.
Well, of course, there's like a lot of Southern people talking about, I'll get up there.
I know.
I'm gonna get my 2x4.
In Carolina, forget about it. They're like, I know how to get up there. I mean, this is like a dream
I'll
come
take my
true.
fighter plane.
Well,
I'll go
even
up there. I'll punch you in the
politicians
face.
like J.D. Vance, the new senator from Ohio, posted a picture on Twitter of him sitting in a lawn chair with a shotgun and looking up at the sky.
I don't know. It's all. I mean, what I don't understand is I remember hearing about this about 3 or 4 days ago, and why it's not shut down, and why they still don't know exactly what it is or where it came from already. It's too many days for this to be floating around our airspace where no one knows exactly what it is. There's no new information.
When they
Yeah.
asked Biden, he waved. He goes, "We got it taken care of. Don't worry about it.
Oh,
We got it."
Oh, see, Hectech said it was over Montana.
There's 2,
Oh, there's 2. That's
which is
weird
very
that there's
sad. It's
2.
very suspicious.
That
I
is
think
really
it's something to be
suspicious.
very. I think they don't want to. Here's the thing. I don't think they want to give us everything, all the information, because it's going to
Yeah.
scare people.
I guess.
Yeah.
So that's.
I don't know. You know, it seems like Men in Black, like there is some sort of agency that keeps us from knowing a whole bunch of shit that would scare the hell out of all of us.
Yeah.
This is true.
Another thing I want to share with you guys is I wonder what your opinion is on robots, AI, and
hate 'em.
oh, go on, Evelyn.
I think like I mean I think it's like robots are like interesting, but like whenever like I see a video of like like stuff like that, or like robots that they're teaching, like robot dogs that they're teaching to like I don't know, like carry gun or like work for the police or something, like it's just another way to like surveil people, I am so sure. And it's like I don't know, like I just don't think it's safe. Like I think
I don't
eventually
think
it
it's
will be
that bad. I think
used.
the people at Skynet know what they're doing, and I think this is all going to work out.
So this is a restaurant.
Skynet's from the Terminator. I was just kidding. That's we're all doomed.
Sorry. Then
I thought
this
maybe Evelyn might know.
No, I haven't seen Terminator or
Oh,
like
that's
that
right. You're a
much one.
girl. I forget sometimes.
well, it's also
You guys know what I'm
age.
talking about in the chat room, right? Right.
It's also
Heck,
just such an old series.
It's basically like you're old.
that has nothing to do with being old. There's current Terminator. Everybody knows what Skynet is.
She didn't.
The destruction of the whole planet by the machines.
Oh,
Nobody saw
Washington Post
Terminator
says they
2.
shot it down over the Atlantic. Oh, thank you. That's an
Thank you,
update.
Hectech.
Thank
I
you,
knew you
Mike.
would know. Oh, is that breaking news?
Is that I guess that must be
But
Washington.
what is it?
Yeah, I don't know.
What?
Thank you, Hectech.
I don't know. But I'll tell you what this
lost.
is. There are restaurants now that are going to replace servers with
Ugh.
these things like this that will serve you instead of an actual waiter. What do you prefer? Do you prefer a waiter or a robot?
It depends.
What does it
Definitely a
depend on?
waiter.
Well, like I went out to a restaurant on Thursday in Jersey, and this lady, we were told that the food there was family style, but it was not, and she thought family style meant that it just comes out all together, and that pisses me off. And a robot would know exactly how to phrase it properly. And then she goes, "You guys didn't order enough food." We're like, "There's 3 of us. We ordered 4 dishes. You said it was family style. How much more do we have to get?" And who was a waiter to tell us we didn't order enough food?
I can't wait for the day when that robot at that restaurant slaps the shit out of you. But
David
here's the
Juskow,
thing.
you are in big trouble. Like that robot from A Small Wonder. Can you get a picture of her?
And for Megan.
Vicky?
Oh
Do you
yeah,
remember?
Megan.
Megan.
Yeah.
Which I just completed this morning because I couldn't go to the farmer's market today because it was too cold.
Yeah.
Well, I watched Megan last week. We talked about it.
It was very
What'd you
good.
think?
I was very good. Well, before we move on
okay.
to Megan, I do want to say this before this is just true. These types of robots are a problem because they are definitely going to replace, and it's going to affect jobs
Yeah.
that are meant for people of color, brown and black, people who live there. Not even just like, I remember when I was coming out of college, young
Hey,
students
TJ.
coming out of college, this is how you made your money, waiting tables.
Yeah.
As an actress, this is how you made your money, waiting tables. So
I did
this is
too.
going to replace that, and it's going to affect the economy in a way
Yeah.
where right now unemployment, by the way, is the highest it's ever been since, I forget when they said, I don't know, 8 something.
Oh,
Let's come
wow.
up with a number.
TJ's right. No, yeah, DJ Eric's right. Like, and we won't have to tip them. That's
They'll
good.
let me tell you, I just said it, just like Megan. They're gonna learn, and that robot's gonna have a response. You cheap ass motherfucker.
Cheap
Yeah.
Jew,
When
an anti-Semitic robot.
well, yeah, that's the thing. Also, like robots, like when they become an AI, when it becomes like self-aware, like one, it's also like the people who make it encode their biases into it. Like there was an AI on Twitter like a few years ago that like was made by people and then interacted with people that were racist and anti-Semitic, and so the AI became racist and anti-Semitic.
That's
But
great.
yeah, there was also a story I saw the other day where there's apparently this like AI like Seinfeld thing.
Yes, I just
And
saw that.
like the people like the characters in the AI Seinfeld became aware. They're like, what are we doing here? Like, what is the meaning of like all of this? And it's like really creepy.
Really?
Yeah, they were like the yeah, I can't remember what they exactly were like, but like it was like the AI Elaine was like, "What's the purpose of like us being here?" And then the AI Jerry was like, "To tell jokes." And then like the AI George Costanza was like, "There must be something bigger." It was so it was terrible. I hated it.
Oh my God, that's just like Megan.
Yeah.
I really did enjoy it. I thought it was really good. Of course, I like real horror, so I think they could have gone a little further. In
Yeah,
my
I do
opinion.
too. I thought it was a little
Tame.
normal. Yeah, like, kind of expect. I wanted it to be a little better. I still enjoyed it, and I'll watch it again. But I think I wanted a bit more. I liked
think they're
Ronnie
working on a
Chang that he was in
sequel
it. That was cool,
already.
right?
They have a sequel already in the works.
I think
Oh yeah,
they
they're gonna
were
make a bunch of
doing,
those.
yeah.
Gonna make a dozen of those. But that was so obvious because people were so excited. It's making so much money. That the trailer was brilliant.
So
But
the creator of Chucky must be upset.
I think the creator of Chucky's done all right for himself.
Well, I mean, this is obviously the better version, like not better version, but this is what Chucky could have evolved into, and it didn't.
No,
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know how. I only watched the first episode of the TV series, so I don't know where they went with that.
I can't even. I think that ruined it.
But wasn't it great that Ronnie Chang was in it though? Wasn't that cool?
Oh yeah, I thought it was. Yeah, it was good.
I didn't know he was in it. Did you?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, that was a good, nice surprise. Yeah.
I
He's
just
nice.
remember every time I see Ronnie Chang, I always remember him telling me, he goes, I keep my house clean. I go, how? He goes, no reason why you should ever wear shoes. I'm sorry, I'm doing his accent.
Yeah.
But he goes, you should never wear shoes in the house. That's how you keep your house clean. It's very easy. He goes, you wear shoes in the house, it gets dirty right away. I always think about that because he was so specific. He goes, I have to have my house clean. And I was like, and so from then on, my thinking was, if I ever touch in my house the floor with my shoes, he's absolutely right. So ever
Yeah,
since
it's
then,
dirty.
I
He's
don't
right,
walk
but
around my house with shoes.
I usually take my shoes off when I come home, but I don't like taking them off in other people's houses. Not because I'm worried about anything. It's a pain in the ass to put back on. And a lot of times, if I know I'm going back out, I won't take them off at home. I try not to think about it. I don't think about it like that. Now he's put it in your head, unfortunately. So
Yeah, but
that's the problem. But
he's
okay.
absolutely right. All the germs.
It makes a heck of a lot of sense. You're completely. You know how sometimes you got to go over somebody's house and they make you take off your shoes.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like in New York City, especially, everywhere you walk. Look, when I sit down on the subway, because I do sit down on the subway car seat, and I had someone recently who looked at me while I was sitting down on the subway car seat, like, ew, you sit down? I go, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I was like, look, my germaphobe thing ends here. I have to sit down. Actually, and I'll fight for that seat.
Yeah.
I go, but when I get home, I take those jeans off and I put them in and I
Yep.
spray it down actually.
Same.
I wash it, but I spray it, disinfect the bot because I don't, yeah.
No, my girlfriend and I do the same thing. Like we call it like if you come back from like, doing like things with friends and going on the subway and like whatever, like it's like we have to take off like our outdoor clothes. As always say, because we don't want to like spread germs from like subway seats, like on like in our bedroom, like on our couch. But yeah,
We
like with like,
are?
are we?
I did see a really clean car come
Maybe he
into
lives
the
somewhere else.
stop. Yeah, where Hectech is from the boogie damn Bronx.
Oh, he is.
But-
So I guess we're getting it here. I didn't hear about that either.
I
Oh,
did see
man.
one pull into the station. I was like, this is pretty clean. This,
You saw a new one?
in New York City, how long is that going to last?
I
That
was about
clean
to
car?
say
Well,
it
you
will
remember?
not last.
I don't think you were here when they were. Were you here when they were gross and graffiti filled and disgusting? Like
When I was a kid,
you didn't live here then.
I visited.
Oh, you visit, right? Remember how
was
it was
terrified.
when you visit? Yeah, it was awful. They were so gross, and the windows were always open, and they didn't have any air conditioning. They just had the windows open. That was all you had.
And I'm
It was
upset
awful.
about like motorbikes being on the platform.
No, you have a good reason for that.
They'll be
They'll be
replacing the
replacing it.
number 6 line.
That's what they're doing first.
That makes sense because that
Are they
goes through the
replacing the
upper.
6 line trains, or they're replacing the number 6 line?
Yeah, that's a
where-
good question.
Oh, bigger doors. That's smart.
Greg Rogel was saying, because I love Greg Rogel when he gets angry about stuff. He was talking about, he's a very funny comedian. He was talking about how the way you prevent people from jumping a turnstile and from, the unhoused taking, space in the subways and all this, is by making the thing higher, the door, so that when you actually go into the subway, you can't jump anything. You can't jump the turnstile. Like there's a stop on, I think it's 96th Street, where you could kind of see the beginnings of that, where it's like high glass type doors, but they still have the turnstile, but you can't jump the turnstile. I've seen everybody jump. I've seen people go underneath it.
Well, I think there's this way to
through.
There's this way to do it where you actually don't have to jump it.
Yeah,
where
I
seen
did it. I did
You,
it.
like, pull it
Remember at
fe-
Yankee Stadium, I squeezed through.
Well, it's
Because
not even
remember I
super
fell.
squeezing.
I tried to jump over and I fell. It was
No,
I
I
remember you
don't.
telling the
embarrassing.
story,
Right,
but it's like
But then
you
I
can
found the
actually-
way to squeeze through.
It's like you pull the thing forward
Just a little bit.
first, and then
Yeah.
you go in. Yeah.
Yeah, and it works like a charm, really.
Yeah.
Really?
I've seen it on TikTok. Yeah, people do it all the time.
Oh, I've never seen that.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Yeah.
I was so angry because I paid for all these people, and then my MetroCard just stopped. I mean, I'm like, screw you.
Yeah.
I'm paying for everybody. It's not like wasn't cheating, and then they just stop it.
The cops are now there like a lot in my station, like just
Yeah,
watching
same.
it. And I've seen something like across the way, like on the one going uptown. I've seen people looking to see if the cops are on the platform
Oh yeah.
downtown before they come across the street to go to jump the turnstile.
You can
and
pretty
stuff.
much ride the bus for free. I mean, nobody ever checks.
Oh yeah, that
I
that
still
has
get my
been.
ticket.
Or
and
even like one time, like I forgot to refill my Metro card, so I got on the bus and I didn't have enough money, and the bus driver's like, "Whatever,
yeah,
just
they
sit
don't-
down."
And I heard they're talking about maybe even making the buses free forever.
That would be nice.
Well,
But that
I
bus
actually
is
do
awful.
prefer the. I do. No, I prefer the bus. At least in Brooklyn, they're like really clean.
Oh.
And like
bus.
It's
bus.
awful. I get on that M15 up First Avenue, and it's just the worst people, and it's horrible sometimes. Like at least at 4:00 in the afternoon, it's
yeah. I don't know if
let
they take the
alone
bus
if
in
a
Manhattan,
poor
but in Brooklyn,
wheelchair person wants to come on. Oh my God, people get angry, and the bus driver gets angry,
oh my
and
god.
I feel so bad for them. But then a wheelchair person probably shouldn't be getting on between 4 and 6 p.m.
Oh my god.
I mean, if
A
you're in
wheelchair person.
yeah, somebody who's in a wheelchair is taking the bus should probably wait till after rush hour to take the bus because it is a pain in the ass. Unfortunately, and they make it a pain, and the bus driver makes you feel like you're a pain.
I feel
Why
bad
would you want to
for
go
them,
through that?
that they have to go through that embarrassing moment.
So embarrassing.
They're
And
just
they
trying to
made
live
it
their
better. Remember the way
lives.
it used to be? They made it better.
This whole city is not handicapped ever
No.
at all. They
No,
don't
it's not
care
accessible.
if you're old. They don't care if you have a baby stroller. They don't care if you have a baby. They don't care if you have
Yeah, I know,
feelings.
GJ.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, what if they're coming from work, Juskow?
Wheelchair people don't have to work. Come on.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I'm just saying it's like it's always everybody gets so upset and then there's a fight because somebody's sitting and they're like, people, I need you to move back. And that's embarrassing for the person in the wheelchair. I feel awful for them. That's what I'm saying.
I feel awful for that poster behind you. Like, did you put yourself in it?
Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
me.
God.
Is that new?
Somebody got it for me. Yeah. This girl, Michelle Fox. She's a comic in Long Island. She sent it to me.
Oh my goodness.
Who are you supposed to, or is it just you, or are you supposed to be a character from Clueless?
It's just me.
It's just you, okay.
You look like Nicolas Cage there.
Yeah, I know. I look just like him. It's really funny. It's an
run out of-
action-packed Clueless.
I've run out of topics
It's
to
a different
talk
version.
about.
Well, I
I
got
know.
plenty. Now,
Well, no,
where I
Evelyn,
wa-
why don't we go
I was gonna say, yeah, it's the
let's
perfect
go into the
time.
reviews of the podcast.
we go to the reviews of the podcast then.
All right, so this first review actually comes from email, from like us email. But just a reminder that you can also leave reviews on Apple Podcasts. Actually, that would be easier, although we do love your notes. But yeah, leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps other people who don't currently listen to the podcast find us. So this is a note from, her name is Tara. She says, hello, Marina. My name is Tara Green, and I came across your podcast, Friends Like Us. I wanted to thank you for helping women of color and for sharing insightful information that often doesn't get shared with women in general. Your contribution to the well-being of women is appreciated, and I acknowledge your value in the lives of so many. With gratitude, Tara. So I thought that was really lovely.
Thank you, Tara.
Yeah, and then also grabbed this review from Apple Podcasts. Phil from Red Hook, who says, longtime listener, 5 stars. Says, I've been listening to Friends Like Us for a few years now and have never been disappointed. Marina's comic style and interviews are always on point. Keep up the good work, Marina. I'll be listening. This is really lovely.
I thank my mom and
and then one last review. Actually, I screenshotted from the chat from last week's review and preview because we were talking about the podcast. Actually, we're talking about the upcoming, or it was upcoming last week. Now it's the episode with Zainab and Don B. From Marcus Fuller, who says, Marina, you have that sexy, calming voice. So those are the reviews this week.
Speaking of, as I was doing the awards kind of acceptance speech, are you excited about the Oscars? Which movie have you watched I've started watching The Fabelmans, and I haven't finished it yet, but it's pretty good.
I haven't watched a lot of the nominated movies. Actually, I really want to see The Fabelmans. I've heard mixed reviews on it, so I'm interested to.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, like, their criticism is like nothing happens, which is like, okay, that's not the point. But yeah, no, so I'm excited to see that.
Today.
The Fabelmans?
Yeah.
Nice.
I haven't
really had
excited-
no interest in seeing that.
You have no
actually-
interest in it?
No.
this isn't nominated for like Best Picture, but it's nominated for Best Animated Picture. I really loved Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. That movie with Jenny Slate.
You love Jenny Slate. You know that Jenny Slate.
I do, but it's a very like funny and poignant movie. I thought it was great. Oh my gosh. And then I'm totally blanking on like
what about
other.
the one that's they're expected to win, the Everything Everywhere at Once?
Oh,
I thought we talked about that. I think we all didn't really care for it.
It's so good.
Are you
No,
kidding? I watched it.
I didn't
I
love it.
went through so many emotions, and I was like, it was incredible
It's
how many
beautiful.
stuff, how much, because it's one of those movies that you watch that you feel like you've been taken to a whole nother world, that you've
Yeah.
left wherever you're at and you are there on that ride. I mean,
Yeah.
it was crazy. I was also watching it with my friend who's insane, but I was like, what is this? Like, what is happening now? Like, and
Yeah, I didn't like it.
you didn't like it?
I didn't. Something was wrong. I mean, I really was really into it because I like the woman, the lead woman, who's
Oh,
probably
she's
gonna win
Michelle,
amazing. I
Oscar,
love
yeah.
right?
her. I've
So
loved
I'll
her
watch
forever.
anything
She
she's in. Was Michelle Kwan? Is that her name or something?
Michelle Yeoh.
Michelle Yeoh. So, and then when I found out again that Short Round was in it, I was like, that's exciting. And then I didn't even know Jamie Lee Curtis was in it. So
Oh,
all of
she's
it
so
was
funny.
working for me in that sense. And then it was going, and I'm like, what's happening? And then it just slowed up for me. It just, I don't know what happened. And meanwhile, I'm okay with movies like that because I watched The Menu, I told you, and I enjoyed that very much. And that is a very quirky one, just like this one. So I don't know what happened with Everywhere, Everything, All at Once, that maybe I got to give it another try.
Yeah,
think
because
it's
it has a heartfelt moment. It's beautiful. It's one of those movies that's like gonna go down in history as one of the best
I guess I just
movies.
thought it was stupid where they're
Well, they
talking
have
in
moments
blocks
that
and stuff.
are meant to be
Yeah.
Yeah,
stupid.
I know with the hot dog hands and stuff, but it's just that I don't know. It's funny because normally I would probably like a movie
Hangnail.
like that. I don't know what happened.
I really enjoyed the White Noise. I think that's what it's called.
Oh, White Noise. Yeah, yeah.
I
The
watched
Noah
that.
Baumbach.
Yeah, that was like crazy. I watched
I
that.
want
I
to
was
see
like,
that
what the
Brendan
hell
Fraser
is
one,
happening?
The Whale.
Oh, the Banshees of Inisherin.
And I
Oh no,
watched
that's the whale. That's the whale.
the Banshees was excellent.
Yeah,
I
my friend
mean, that
Vincent told me
one,
that's great.
the
Yeah.
comedy in it is so good.
What else is nominated?
Also, I was sad that the Woman King. Now, I know I had some
It
criticism
should
because
be.
I was like, it's been taking of history and doing whatever, but I watched it and I loved it. And I thought that Viola should have definitely been nominated
The
because she
stuff
was amazing.
the stuff with Andrea Riseborough and like I don't think the Academy should have like kept her nominated. I think that's really sketchy the way that
Oh,
she got
that's
the
right. That
nomination.
controversy because she campaigned for it or
Yeah, like I
something.
don't think she was like directly involved in it, but she had like people who are on like the voting board of the Oscars, the Academy, like who were campaigning for her, like
Who
Kate
are you talking about,
Winslet,
Evelyn?
Andrea Riseborough. She's
Oh,
nominated for this movie called To Leslie.
oh.
Um, she's nominated for Best Actress, and like it was kind of like a shocker that she was nominated, but like it was basically she had all these really high profile people like campaigning for her
But
to get.
doesn't that happen all the time that you can campaign for an Oscar
You can
nomination?
campaign, but she had people who are on the voting board of the
Oh,
Academy like campaigning for her. And I think that's really sketchy. And I think like
that's a little sketchy.
instead of her, like I think it should be like Viola Davis,
Oh, that's her.
or I think Danielle
Yikes.
Deadweiler is the actress's name, who's in Till. I think should have like been nominated. So yeah, I find it to be a little not
Marina,
good.
they nominated that stupid Elvis. Remember that guy you were
Oh,
saying was
Austin Butler.
that guy's the worst actor because he talks like Marina said he's just talking like Elvis all the time. So it's like horrible.
Well, he
There
said
has
that he's gonna be in the second Dune movie, and someone who's working on it said he's dropped the accent now.
Oh, he has? Oh, it's just a thing? Oh, well, that's
Yeah,
good because it's so weird, right? It's just like,
it's
I
so
can't do
creepy.
any other roles, man. Hey, I'd just like to say a shout out to Lisa Marie. Can't believe it just happened.
I think
I
it's a
really love her.
short-lived career.
I
Yeah.
And
think
I'll
so.
do
Well,
that
that's
in
a
Elvis voice.
it's weird for me too, because like he was like a
Hi, Marie.
child actor on like
He was?
Disney Channel. Yeah, he was like
Which one?
he was on like Hannah Montana, like
He
Miley
was?
Cyrus's show. Yeah, like I mean, it was like a
I
brief
watched all of
role.
those
And then I
episodes.
think he was on the show that Selena Gomez was on, Wizards
The
of
Wizards
Waverly
of Waverly
Place.
Place?
I
Wow.
think so. Yeah, so it's like
Hi,
very
Marie.
weird for
Hey,
me to
listen, I got to
see
tell you, Marie. You're right
him
here.
have like an acting career.
And the Black Panther was great. I
Yeah.
cried. I was like, this is such a good
Oh,
um
What's Tar?
Oh, that's with Kate
Oh my
Blanchett.
god!
So
Before we
good.
get into Tar, which was excellent, but I just thought that the way they honored, I'm gonna forget the actor who
Chadwick
passed.
Boseman.
Thank you, Chadwick Boseman. The way they honored him, it made me I was like bawling. And I went to go see the movie with Keith Robinson, of course, and he was like, "What are you crying for, you dummy?" I was like, it's so beautiful. I don't know why it's so sad. And it was so beautiful and so well done. And women lead the story. It was just
Yeah.
excellent in every way.
And that's what
Now,
Angela Bassett is nominated for, right?
and by God, she deserves. She's so
Yeah.
like talented and beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, she look how she's so, her aging. I just want to know what she's taking.
Yeah, right.
She looks
Been around for a long time, and she looks great.
Her skin.
agree.
I'm just always looking at her skin.
Yeah,
She looks
it's weird.
unbelievable. So beautiful. I'm gonna look that way.
When was that Tina Turner movie? In the early 90s, or
That's right.
She won for that, right?
I don't think she.
Oh, she didn't win.
I don't think so.
When was that? What year was that? I mean, Jesus, she's been around a long time.
What's love got to do with it?
Yeah.
Let's see here. What's love got
She
to
didn't
do
win?
with it?
I wonder who won that year. She was so terrific.
Let's see, 1993.
So yeah, it was pretty close. That's what, 20 years ago, right? Or more.
More.
20 years, right? Or is it 30 years?
30.
God damn. She looks amazing.
They were in Best Actor, Lawrence Fishburne. Nominee, Best Actress, Angela Bassett.
But she didn't win.
Yeah.
She did or did not?
I don't think she did.
I knew she was nominated. I actually thought she won. 93. That's not Silence of the Lambs year. That's 91.
Yeah, they're all. I don't know. I don't believe she did. That's why there's such a push for her to receive. I love how the Oscars
won in 93.
Well, there's no way that Michelle Yeoh is not winning. I think it's a slant. She's got, like Angela Bassett, she's got a very big storied career.
Yeah, they both do.
Bassett nominated in leading actress or supporting?
Oh, so that could work.
Because Michelle Yeoh is
leading.
She's gonna win. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Now Tar, which
oh my God, that was the year. Sorry, that 93 was the controversial year that Marissa Tomei won Best Supporting Actress, and everybody's like, "Did he say the wrong name?" Remember that?
Oh shit!
Yeah,
really?
That was the year Al Pacino won for Scent of a Woman. Emma Thompson won for Howard's End. Boo!
Oh no!
Well, wait, that must be the wrong year because she's not nominated there. So maybe it was a different. Maybe she was for 94.
But Tar, you guys got to see Tar.
Yeah,
have you seen it?
I've seen it. Yeah, it's on Peacock. People can.
Oh, I don't have Peacock.
What's it about?
Oh, what's it about? First of all, it's like a Me Too movie about a woman.
Yeah.
Which we never talk about, how women can play a role in Me Too and sexual assault, which is very factual.
Yeah, they're troublemakers. Oh, it's not about,
but it's also about like, I think it's about this culture of like extremism with like, you get to a certain position and you have a certain amount of power, no matter who you are, and you take advantage of situations, and you sort of like play your role in it. And then when you look, it's
you don't think it's like that Demi Moore one from the 90s with Michael Douglas, like when they kind of turned the tables and she came onto him, and remember that one?
Different because I'm gonna let Evelyn take it, because Evelyn, you can explain it so much better than I. Go ahead.
It's hard. Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's also like there's like psychological, like I don't know. Yeah. So I mean, like Kate Blanchett plays this like conductor who like everything is like really going well for her. And then this like, I don't know, like controversy happens. I don't know. It's hard for me to describe as well.
It sounds exciting.
She's got kind of OCD-ish, but then here's the thing: the person that you think she is, you eventually find out her roots, which is very fascinating because it goes back into like
I'm
when
gonna
we
try and watch that tomorrow.
when we become these people who everyone sort of listens to and believes in, and
Meanwhile,
then
sorry. Go ahead,
and then
sorry.
you it's okay is then you realize that this person sort of comes from these roots of
Yeah.
pain and poverty.
I
It's
guess I don't want to hear it. I now it,
Yeah, that's why
you've
we're
you've
tiptoeing
got me
Yeah.
around it.
intrigued. You've got me intrigued.
But
Um,
here's the one thing I will say is, as an actor, right? When you watch it, and it's been a long time since I've experienced this, you watch an actress, and you go, how in the hell does she do that? I cannot understand how she's doing what she's doing. It's definitely like, and part of it is because I'm like, how does she memorize all those lines? Because it's very linguistic. It's a lot of wordsmith.
Yeah.
Like, it's so brilliantly written, and it's so on a high level of linguistic. Like, it is just it's it's beyond anything I've seen linguistically,
Yeah.
it writing wise. I have not seen it, and it's just, to me, it's one of my favorite movies, I think, today.
Yeah.
And because I just look at her when she's acting, and I go, first of all, I can hear her talking, which I haven't been able to do in a lot of movies lately. A lot of actors devalue the role of the actor in the way that they have to communicate the story through speech
Yeah.
and words, and that is part of what acting, from I know I'm going into my acting school
No,
days,
please do.
but that is what is important about theater and about movies, is that you got to communicate the story.
Yeah.
So I won't say it, but we talked about an actor recently who I was like, I don't understand your word you're saying. It's funny, but I don't understand a word you're saying. And so that kind of ruins it for me. And I get that you're funny in this, but it's ruining it for me because I have to
Yeah.
rewind this. I have to put the captions on. And
Mhm.
that, to me, is bad for, it's just not the point of acting. It's not the point of
Yeah.
theater.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what she's so exceptional at. I loved it.
I
Anyway,
love
go.
that too. No, I mean, I agree. I also like recently, like, I hate the trend in movies and like TV of like poor lighting. Like, it's now like a thing where like all these shots or like in nighttime scenes are just like fully in the dark. It's so hard to see. And
Mhm.
also like really inaccessible.
Yeah, because it's like the days of really talented actors and communicating the story, like, really are starting to fade a little bit.
Yeah.
And when I look at someone like Angela Bassett, when I look at someone like Kate Blanchett, they remind me of what I wanna get to.
Yeah.
And when I look at someone else that I've seen, people that I've seen get roles because they're a funny comedian or because they're just got a lot of followers, it's lazy to me. And it's just
No,
because
I
I've been
agree.
around a long time, and I know what good is. I know what brilliant is. I know what really talent looks like. And I have such a hunger for it. So when I see it, I'm like, that's it. Thank
Yeah.
God it's still around.
Yeah.
Viola
An-
Davis, thank God it's
Angela
still around. Denzel Washington, thank God
Yeah.
it's still around.
Angela Bassett lost out to Holly Hunter that year for The
Oh, that's, yeah,
Piano.
someone put that in. DJ Eric Prince was where there.
I had it covered up.
Mm.
Holly Hunter is an exceptional actress, however.
Yeah, she was pretty good. I think, did she win 2 or just 1?
What was that in?
The Piano.
Oh, the piano. Oh, that's right.
That was the year that Schindler's List won it all. Spielberg won his first Oscar.
Oh, and Tom Hanks beat Fishburne in.
Oh,
That's right.
Okay.
such
For
a good
Philadelphia.
movie.
His first one as well.
Okay. Look, I just belched. I'm like, time to go. I have to do 3 shows tonight, spaced out really apart.
Oh,
It's like sometimes I'm like, I'm excited to work, but when I have like, I have an 8 o'clock and then I have an 11 o'clock, I'm like, oh my God.
and it's
I'm
so
gonna.
cold you can't like go anywhere else.
This weather, by the way, always reminds me of Jussie Smollett. Just saying,
What? Why?
because it was this cold
Oh,
when
it
he
was?
claimed that those guys,
Oh
you
my
know,
God.
when he had a hate crime, and I'm like, now you guys can all feel this weather and think of, let's just remember, Jessica, you were talking about how fast you were walking. Do you have time to hate in this weather?
No, I think about that all the time. Like, it would suck to like get shot or something in this kind of weather. Like, it's just like everything is bad about it. You can't think or concentrate.
Yeah, so that's why we all knew it was suspect when he said that. It was like,
Yeah.
it's too cold to be
It's
angry.
too cold.
Exactly. It's too cold to be angry. That's the
Yeah.
name of my new book.
Too cold to be angry. All right, we got to get out. I want to thank you all for being here with us today. You all are such fabulous followers of us. Evelyn, you want to tell our viewers where they can what they can expect from you? You've been upgraded at your job.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, as always, you can find new things that I've written on my website, evelynfrick.com, also my Twitter, at Evelyn G. Frick.
Yay. Juskow?
I have my Tuesday show, Comedy Cellar Nightly, on YouTube at 6 p.m. every Tuesday, and Juskow in the City podcast, and that's that.
And are you gonna be talking about the Super Bowl on Tuesday?
Probably. We usually do.
Oh, I should
Oh,
have
you
brought
want
up
to
the
join
fact.
in?
Do you care about the Empire State Building? They've been putting up.
I don't care.
It's a little annoying, but it's annoying because they're not taking respect. They're like, the Empire State Building is for everybody, not just New York. That's what the Empire State Building is saying. And that's a little rude. Empire State Building is a legendary New York institution that in the 30s was, made that way from a movie and all that kind of stuff. And it's a little disrespectful to put the hated enemy's colors up. I don't know.
agree.
I don't know how I feel about it. It's stupid, right? But yet I don't care because I'm not a big Giants fan.
Okay.
But if I was, I'd be furious. Like if this was the Jets and they put up the Dolphins colors, I'd probably be furious. Which they're going to do. They're going to put them up again when they win, if in fact they win the Super Bowl. They
Yeah.
also put the Chiefs colors up too when they won the AFC championship. So people don't realize they were putting up everybody's colors because they
Yeah.
obviously made some sort of deal with the NFL or something. But it's all money and it's disrespect to the city if you live here.
Uh-oh. Eric Prince got his little jokes on. Buildings don't hate, people hate. All right. And Marina Franklin here. Don't forget, you can see me on the live stream tonight if you are watching this now and you want to see me later. I'm
do you
doing
mean?
this thing for the Mint.
Oh, you're doing the Comedy Cellar is doing Mint on a Saturday night?
On a Saturday night. So
Wow.
it'll be live streaming. So you go and you can look at my story on Instagram. So if you want to see me perform tonight at the Comedy Cellar, just go to their Instagram, the Comedy Cellar, go to the website. It's all there. Go to my story. It's all there where you can, and there's even a discount code with my name in it on the story. So check
Was
that
this
out.
planned in advance or are they doing it because of the cold weather?
I don't know. I don't know how to answer
When did you
that.
find out about
Last
this?
week.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So, and I think they'll be doing it on the weekends now. And yep. So anyway, so check that out. And also I will be in Vermont. You know, that's my favorite place in the whole world. March 2nd through the 4th. So if you know someone in Vermont area and you want them to come see me live, go and check me out at the Vermont Comedy Club in Burlington, Vermont, the place that I love, the place of good white folks. All right. Now, make sure you wash your hands, you wear your mask, and don't forget, it's Black History Month. It's our month. And Black Lives Matter. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.